When did you start using your own growth as the reason to stay with someone that you've already outgrown? This usually begins when you change. This usually begins when the change in you becomes awesome and undeniable. You did all of the hard work and you learn to regulate your reactions and to say what you mean and to notice patterns instead of getting pulled under all of them. Where you used to shut down, now you speak. Where you used to chase, now you pause. Inside that shift, something subtle happens. The relationship becomes the place that you try to prove all of it. And that makes sense, right? So when he withdraws, you stay composed. When he disappoints you, you communicate instead of reacting. And when something feels off, you give it time instead of calling it out. You start measuring the health of the relationship by how well you can move through it. And some women get here by surviving something that probably should have ended it, then using that survival as evidence of depth. Others have kind of watched their own reactions get softer and decided that the problem must have softened too. It often gets reinforced. Staying gets framed at that point as maturity, and leaving gets framed as regression. The internal logic sounds sound, except that's not what's happening. And you can see that when you step back and look. The relationship didn't actually improve, right? But your tolerance did. And that's the payoff, I guess. Endurance lets you keep the relationship without confronting that it doesn't really fit anymore. It turns your progress into a reason to stay instead of a signal that you need to reevaluate, and it protects you from having to admit that the distance, the inconsistency, and the lack of reciprocity are still there. You just experience them more quietly now. You didn't grow because of the relationship. You grew while you were in it, and that's a big distinction, and it matters. Growth expands what you're able to handle, but it doesn't often tell you what's worth handling.